Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to Sleepy Science Teller. Tonight, we'll drift far beyond the stars into the deep stillness of eternity. We'll explore what scientists call the heat death of the universe, a poetic phrase for the moment when everything falls completely silent. So, find a soft place to rest, let your body unwind, and allow your thoughts to float gently like dust in starlight. I'd love to know where you are listening from. Comment below your city and the time right now. It's always fascinating to imagine this small moment we share across a spinning earth. And if you enjoy drifting through space and science with me, please softly tap like and subscribe. It helps our little universe of calm grow a little brighter. There's a special kind of quiet that lives between the stars, a stillness so vast, so endless, that even light seems hesitant to move through it. And yet, somewhere within that cosmic hush, a small planet spins. And on that planet, you sit here tonight, listening. Welcome, my friend, to a journey that drifts far beyond the edge of our ordinary nights, beyond dreams, beyond galaxies, into the calm, inevitable silence that waits at the end of everything. Don't worry, this silence isn't frightening. It's not destruction, not chaos. It's peace, the universe's final exhale. Scientists call it the heat death of the universe. But tonight, we'll think of it more gently, as the final silence. Before we begin, let's slow everything down. Take a deep breath in, and let it go slowly. Feel the air move through your lungs, like tiny galaxies swirling in miniature. You're made of the same elements that once burned in stars. Every atom in your body was once part of a sun, a fragment of a supernova, a spark of cosmic dust drifting through time. And tonight, we'll follow those atoms backward and forward through the life of the universe, from its fiery beginning to its peaceful frozen end. Imagine the first breath of the universe. Around 13.8 billion years ago, everything, all matter, energy, space, and time, was compressed into something smaller than a grain of sand. And then it expanded, not into space, but creating space itself as it grew. That expansion never stopped. Even now, as you listen, the very space between you and the stars is stretching, slowly, invisibly, like the rise and fall of an eternal tide. Every star, every galaxy, every beam of light is part of that slow outward drift. It's as though the universe took one long breath in and has been exhaling ever since. But like all things that breathe, it will one day reach a stillness, not because it collapses, but because it becomes too stretched, too wide, too thin to hold warmth or light. The final silence is not a sudden ending. It's a quiet settling, a gradual fading, like embers cooling after a long night's fire. If you listen closely, you might almost feel it, that soft whisper in the background of time, the echo of what's to come. It's easy to feel small when thinking about the end of the universe. But what if, instead of feeling small, you felt connected? Because when we talk about the end, we're also talking about the beginning, the full circle of everything that has ever been, the stars that made you, the atoms that carry your thoughts, the warmth that keeps your heart beating. All of it began in a cosmic explosion, and all of it will one day return to silence. In that silence, nothing is lost, only transformed. Energy doesn't vanish. It simply shifts into a quieter form, like a melody fading into still air. The heat death is the universe's way of resting. After endless motion, creation, and chaos, there comes a time for peace. And perhaps, as the cosmos grows quiet, somewhere, somehow, a new kind of beauty will emerge, a serenity too vast for our minds to imagine. So, tonight as you rest, let this thought settle deep within you. You are part of this great unfolding story. Your existence, your breath, your warmth is a spark in the universe's long dream. And though that dream will one day end, for now, you are awake within it. Let's begin our journey into the vast, expanding calm and trace how this universe, ever so gently, moves towards final, peaceful sigh. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the night sky. Each star, each soft pinprick of light feels still, doesn't it? But in truth, nothing is still. Every star, every galaxy, every particle of dust is quietly moving, drawn along by something invisible, the gentle stretching of the universe itself. From the moment of the Big Bang, space began to expand, not like a bomb exploding into empty air, but like a fabric stretching from within. Everything, every atom, every photon, was carried along as space itself grew larger. If you could see it, the galaxies wouldn't be racing through space. They would be drifting with it like dots painted on an inflating balloon. As the balloon grows, the dots move apart, not because they're traveling, but because the very surface beneath them is expanding. Our universe behaves in the same way. The galaxies are not sailing through a sea of space. They are part of that sea, and the sea is swelling. Billions of years ago, galaxies were close together, bright and hot and new. Now, the space between them has stretched wide and dark, and billions of years from now, they'll be farther still until their light fades beyond the reach of our eyes. Scientists measure this expansion by observing something called redshift. When light travels through expanding space, its wavelength stretches. It shifts toward the red end of the spectrum. It's as though the light itself is sighing, its energy softening, its color fading as it journeys across the universe. This discovery was first made in the 1920s by a man named Edwin Hubble. He looked at distant galaxies and noticed that the farther away they were, the faster they seemed to be moving from us. That observation changed everything. It meant the universe was not static. It was alive, growing, and in constant motion. And that motion, that quiet stretching of everything, continues even now as you listen to these words, as your heartbeat echoes faintly in your chest, as galaxies slip silently away, each into their own forever. When the expansion was first discovered, it puzzled even the greatest minds. Einstein himself once believed that the universe was unchanging, an eternal, motionless stage where stars and galaxies existed in balance. But nature had a different story to tell. When Hubble revealed his findings, Einstein revisited his equations and realized the universe could not remain still. It must either be expanding or contracting. The evidence was clear it was expanding. This expansion, however, is not driven by the galaxies themselves. It's not like a firework shooting outward. It's the very fabric of space-time stretching. To understand this, imagine a loaf of bread filled with raisins. As the dough rises, each raisin moves farther from the others, not because it's moving on its own, but because the dough between them is expanding. That's our universe. Galaxies are like the raisins, held in place by gravity within their own clusters, but carried apart by the expansion of the dough, the growing space between them, and the rate of this expansion, far from slowing down, is actually accelerating. Scientists believe this is caused by something mysterious, something we call dark energy. It makes up nearly 70% of the entire universe, and yet we don't truly understand it. It doesn't shine. It doesn't pull. It pushes. It drives everything apart, like an unseen wind blowing through the cosmos. As the universe expands faster and faster, galaxies drift beyond each other's sight. Their light, stretched by redshift, grows fainter and colder until even the brightest ones disappear into darkness. If an observer were to exist trillions of years from now, they would see only their own galaxy, a lone island adrift in an ocean of black. The cosmic web would be gone, the sky emptied of all other galaxies. The universe would appear silent, and yet, in that silence, the expansion would continue. Even when no one could see it, the stretching of space would go on forever. The universe breathes, not in seconds or centuries, but in eons. Its expansion is the rhythm of creation itself, a slow, steady heartbeat that began with the birth of time. When you look up at the stars, you're seeing light that has traveled for billions of years. That light carries messages from a universe much younger than the one we live in now. It tells us of galaxies still forming, stars still burning bright, and clusters still close together. But by the time their light reaches us, those galaxies have drifted far away, their true positions hidden beyond time. We see them as they once were, never as they are now. In a sense, every starlit sky is a kind of memory, the universe looking back at its own reflection. As expansion continues, these memories will fade. The night sky of the far future will be a lonelier place. The Milky Way and its neighboring galaxy, Andromeda, will merge into one, a single glowing island called Milkomeda. But beyond that, the rest of the universe will slip from view. The cosmic horizon, the farthest edge of what can be seen, will close in. Light from other galaxies will stretch so far that its energy will become undetectable. The universe will appear empty, though it is still expanding faster than ever. This is a destiny written into space itself, an eternal drift, a soft and ceaseless stretching. Some scientists call it tragic, others beautiful, because even as everything grows distant, the expansion reminds us that creation never truly ends. It only changes form. From a single spark to infinite space, the universe is an unfolding for billions of years, and it will continue long after the last light fades. So when you think of expansion, don't picture a violent rush outward. Picture a slow, graceful unfolding, a cosmic flower, petal by petal, opening into the infinite. The universe isn't running away. It's simply growing, becoming what was always meant to be, an endless, silent sea of space and time. Imagine standing beneath the night sky, a blanket of stars glittering above you, each point of light, a furnace of unimaginable heat and pressure, burning, glowing, and sending warmth across billions of miles. But the space between those stars is not warm at all. It is cold, almost perfectly cold, hovering just above absolute zero, the lowest temperature possible, where even the dance of atoms comes to rest. Now imagine that cold spreading, slowly, silently, as the universe continues to expand. The warmth from every star, every galaxy, every breath of cosmic radiation stretches thinner and thinner still. The universe is cooling, and not in a single place, but everywhere, all at once. Long ago, the entire cosmos blazed with unimaginable heat. Right after the Big Bang, everything glowed, a storm of energy, dense and white-hot. The temperature then was beyond anything we can truly comprehend. Billions of degrees, matter and energy tangled together in chaos. But as space expanded, that heat began to thin out. Like steam rising from a cooling cup of tea, it drifted apart, spreading wider and weaker, until the once fiery universe became dim. Even now, we can still detect the faint afterglow of that heat. The cosmic microwave background radiation. It's everywhere, filling all of space with a whisper of warmth. It is the last trace of the fire that created everything. Once, this radiation glowed bright and visible, a sea of light that would have been too brilliant for eyes to bear. But now, its glow has faded into radio waves. Its warmth cooled to just 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. A faint murmur of heat spread across infinity, and this fading, this cooling, will never stop, because as the universe stretches, so too does the energy that fills it. Each wave of light, each pulse of heat, is stretched by expansion, its energy spread thin, its temperature falling. One day, even this faint cosmic warmth will be gone. The cooling cosmos is not a sudden event. It unfolds over unimaginable spans of time, trillions upon trillions of years. To understand it, think of a universe as a great ocean of heat. In its early age, the waves were wild, crashing with energy. But as time passes, the waves calm, the surface becomes still, the energy spreads out, and the temperature drops. This cooling follows a simple rule. As the universe doubles in size, its temperature falls in half. That means, as galaxies drift farther apart, as light stretches into longer wavelengths, as everything becomes more distant, the universe slowly loses its warmth. Today, the night sky may look cold, but it is still full of heat. The warmth of starlight, of cosmic radiation, of distant galaxies still burning. Every photon of light carries energy. Every atom holds motion. But as time marches on, that energy spreads out. The stars that fill our sky will eventually exhaust their fuel. They'll shrink, fade, and die as each one goes dark. Less and less heat will flow through the cosmos. The night will deepen. The galaxies will dim. And the soft, radiant glow that once filled the heavens will grow faint until the universe becomes a cold, black sea in the far future. What remains will be the slow radiation from dying stars, the quiet shimmer of cooling planets, and the last warm whispers from white dwarfs, the remnants of suns that once burned bright. But even they will cool, slowly, steadily, until they too fall silent. It is not a sad story, though it sounds lonely. It is the natural rhythm of thermodynamics, the universe seeking balance, sharing its energy evenly until no part is warmer than another. In that balance, there is stillness, and in that stillness, peace. Cold in the universe is not the enemy of life. It is the gentle sigh of time. It is the pause that follows the music, the still surface after the wave. When we speak of the cooling cosmos, we are really speaking of entropy, the gradual spreading of energy from concentrated warmth into even, silent calm. Entropy isn't destruction. It's simply the process of balance, the universe's way of evening itself out. Think of a cup of tea. At first, it steams, hot and fragrant. But as minutes pass, the heat escapes, and the tea cools to match the air around it. Eventually, everything in the room, the tea, the air, the cup, shares the same temperature. No more flow of heat, no more energy to exchange. Perfect equilibrium. That is what will happen to the universe on an infinitely grand scale. At first, there were galaxies, stars, supernovas, great explosions of light and life. Then, as the universe expanded, those brilliant moments became rarer. The stars dwindled, the galaxies faded, and the great ocean of energy smoothed itself out. Someday, there will be no hot or cold, just a vast sameness, a temperature so even, so balanced, that nothing new can happen. No stars can form, no light can shine, no warmth can flow. This is what scientists call thermal equilibrium, and it is the essence of the universe's heat-death, a quiet, endless night, where every particle has shared all its warmth, and the cosmos rests in perfect stillness. But there's a strange kind of beauty in that vision, isn't there? A kind of cosmic serenity. The idea that everything, from blazing stars to gentle worlds, from atoms to hearts, will one day settle into peaceful harmony. Even the coldest silence is not the absence of meaning. It's the final expression of balance, the universe's softest whisper after a lifetime of light. And as you lie here, listening, you are part of that same rhythm. The warmth of your body, the breath that moves through you, the gentle beat of your heart, all are tiny echoes of the universe's great thermal song. You are heat, you are motion, you are energy, borrowed for a little while from the cosmos itself. And someday, as all warmth fades into balance, your atoms too will return to that infinite calm. Not lost, not gone, just resting. Every star you see in the night sky is a story of creation, energy, and time. Each one began as a cloud of gas and dust, gathering under the pull of gravity, until its heart grew hot enough to ignite. That first spark, that moment when fusion begins, is like the birth of a heartbeat. Hydrogen atoms fuse into helium, releasing unimaginable energy. That energy pushes outward, balancing the inward pull of gravity. And so a star is born, a perfect balance between collapse and explosion, between gravity and light. From tiny red dwarfs to mighty blue giants, each star lives its own rhythm, set by its mass and its fuel. The more massive a star is, the faster it burns its fuel. A giant star might shine 1,000,000 times brighter than our sun, but it may live only a few million years. A smaller star, cool and dim, might burn for trillions. When you look up at the sky, you're seeing stars at every stage of life. Some just beginning to glow, some in their prime, some already flickering toward their end. And because light travels slowly, many of those stars are long dead, their light still journeying across space, like a memory that refuses to fade. The death of a star is not sudden. It's a transformation, a passage from brilliance to stillness. Our own sun, for example, is halfway through its life. It has burned for about 4.5 billion years, and will burn for roughly that much longer. But when its hydrogen runs out, it will change, swelling into a red giant, its outer layers drifting away like petals in the wind. What remains will be a white dwarf, a small, dense, cooling ember what once was. And that is how stars fade, not with violence, but with grace. A quiet dimming, a slow surrender to the calm of space. Now imagine this, the universe, billions upon billions of years from now. The great spiral galaxies that once glowed with trillions of stars have dimmed. Their centers no longer shine with new births. The nurseries of stars, those bright, gas-filled clouds, have been used up, their material turned into suns long gone. In this far future cosmos, no new stars are forming. The last generation of stars, the smallest, faintest red dwarfs, continue to burn, quietly, patiently. Their glow is soft and steady, casting only a dim warmth into the endless dark. These little red stars live the longest, while giant stars may live millions of years. Red dwarfs can last for trillions. They are the keepers of the universe's final light, but even they cannot burn forever. Eventually, their hydrogen fuel will run out. They will grow cooler, dimmer, until they no longer shine. At that time, the galaxies will be dark shapes against blackness, filled only with fading embers. White dwarfs cooling into black dwarfs. Neutron stars slowly losing their heat, and black holes quietly waiting. The night sky, once alive with glittering lights, will become nearly empty. Stars will vanish one by one, like candles burning out in a cathedral of infinite space. Imagine standing under such a sky. No constellations, no Milky Way, no faint glow of neighboring galaxies. Just a deep, silent black, stretching endlessly. And yet, in that silence, there is a strange kind of beauty. The universe is not dying in pain. It is resting. It has burned bright for trillions of years, and now it is time to cool, to breathe, to sleep. Even after the stars fade, their stories remain written across the universe. Their ashes, carbon, oxygen, iron, and gold, float forever through the dark, becoming the dust that will shape new worlds, and perhaps new life. Every element inside you, every atom in your bones, every spark in your mind, was forged in the heart of a star. When you think of a star fading, you're not watching something vanish. You're watching it return home, to the fabric of everything that is. And though the stars themselves will go dark, their light will not vanish instantly. Photons, the particles of light, will continue to travel for trillions of years, crossing vast, frozen distances, stretching thinner and fainter, until they fade into the quiet hum of background radiation. Even in that silence, the memory of every star will remain, encoded in the soft glow of the cosmos. There's something deeply human in that idea. That light, once released, never truly disappears. It may weaken, it may cool, but it continues its journey, like the light of our own lives, spreading quietly through time, touching places we may never see. When the last star finally fades, and the galaxies drift into darkness, the universe will not mourn. It will rest in equilibrium, its energy spread evenly, its story written. The stars, those cosmic hearts of fire, will have fulfilled their purpose. They gave warmth and light and the very elements of existence. They lived bright, and they faded gently, returning their gifts to the silence that birthed them. Perhaps, when we close our eyes at night, we are not so different. We shine for a while. We burn with our own small light, and then we rest. And in that rest, in that darkness, we become part of something larger. So as the stars fade away, they do not disappear. They become the quiet, the peace between every heartbeat of the cosmos. The universe was once ablaze with light. Galaxies shimmered like jewels. Clusters of stars tangled in rivers of fire and dust. Everywhere you looked, something was burning, something alive with energy. But time changes everything. Even the universe, vast and ancient as it is, cannot resist the slow, patient hand of entropy. Bit by bit, moment by moment, the lights begin to fade. The grand symphony of starlight, so full of birth, brilliance, and destruction, has played for trillions of years. But every note, every crescendo, must someday come to an end. This is how the era of darkness begins. Quietly, not with a bang, but with a sigh. The final stars, those faint red dwarfs we spoke of, burn their last reserves of hydrogen. They glow softly, their light a whisper against the vast night, and then one by one, they go out. What follows is a silence unlike anything we can imagine. No sunrise, no shimmering galaxies, no flicker of starlight to mark the passing of time. Only the cold, dark vastness, a universe emptied of its radiance. And yet in this silence, there is movement. Black dwarfs still drift through space. White-hot remnants cooling toward absolute zero. Neutron stars, once fierce with magnetic storms, grow cold and still. Black holes, the last powerful beings of creation, wait in the shadows, quietly pulling in whatever matter remains. If an observer were somehow alive during this era, they would see almost nothing. The sky would be a perfect black, without even the faintest star to pierce it. The Milky Way would no longer exist, its structure long since dissolved, and the universe itself would be vast beyond comprehension, expanding faster than light could ever cross. Each lonely remnant would drift forever, cut off from every other by the sheer stretch of time and space. This is the cosmic twilight, the quiet after the music, the stillness after the dance. And yet, it's not sadness that fills this dark. It's peace. The universe is resting. It has burned bright for so long. It has earned its sleep. As we drift deeper into this cosmic night, the concept of time begins to lose meaning. Without light, without motion, without any rhythm to measure against, what does a second even mean? Time still moves forward, of course, but it moves through emptiness, through silence. In this era, the universe is unimaginably vast and cold. Temperatures hover near absolute zero, just a fraction above the point where all molecular motion stops. The last traces of heat cling to dying embers of matter, to lonely black dwarfs, and to the faint radiation of ancient light, stretched so far by expansion that it hums at frequencies too low for any eye to see. The cosmic background radiation, once a glowing afterimage of the Big Bang, has cooled to invisibility. What was once 3 degrees above absolute zero becomes almost indistinguishable from zero itself. Every photon is stretched, every wavelength extended, until light itself fades into the dark. In this silence, atoms decay. Protons, the very building blocks of matter, are believed by some physicists to be unstable. If that's true, then even the hardest, densest objects will eventually fall apart. Black dwarfs, once solid and frozen, will dissolve into mist. Neutron stars will crumble into lighter particles. Even black holes will slowly evaporate. Through the mysterious process known as Hawking radiation, this process is almost unimaginably slow. A black hole could take 10 to the power of 100 years. that a one followed by 100 zeros, to vanish completely, is a number so vast that it erases the idea of forever. And when the final black hole evaporates, what remains? No stars, no light, no atoms, only a thin, fading sea of particles and photons, drifting endlessly through an ever-expanding space. It is the ultimate stillness, the final quiet, but not an ending, not really, because even here, in this infinite hush, something remains, the memory of what once was, the soft echo of every light that ever shone. To imagine the era of darkness is to imagine stillness beyond sound. It is not chaos, nor destruction. It is the opposite, a kind of balance the universe has been moving toward all along. For billions of years, matter has sought equilibrium, energy spreading evenly, heat flowing outward, light stretching thin. Entropy is not cruel. It is patient. It guides everything toward calm. In this final quiet, every action has completed its cycle. Every wave has flattened. Every spark has cooled. Every sound has faded into silence. And in that silence, there is peace. Perfect, endless, gentle peace. If consciousness were somehow to exist in this far future, some quiet observer, watching from the edge of eternity, perhaps it would not see loss, but serenity. The universe is no longer struggling, no longer burning or collapsing. It has reached a perfect stillness, a balance between everything that ever was and everything that will ever be. You might think of it as the universe exhaling its final breath, and then simply being. A soft hum remains, not of sound, but of presence, the faintest, most delicate reminder that existence once was vibrant, once was full, once was alive. And yet, this silence is not empty. It's filled with the memory of all that came before. Every burst of starlight, every planet, every life, every dream, echoing softly, forever woven into the very fabric of time. The era of darkness, then, is not a tragedy. It is the calm after the storm. The universe has not died. It has found its rest. After the last light fades, the universe doesn't simply go dark. It remembers. It remembers the warmth of suns, the spinning glow of galaxies, the beauty of burning hydrogen turned into brilliance. But memory, in the language of the cosmos, is written not in words, but in matter. And the matter that remains are the ghosts of stars. We call them black dwarfs. They are what's left when the smallest, most enduring stars finally burn out. A star like our sun, after billions upon billions of years, will one day stop shining. It will shed its outer layers in a gentle farewell, a glowing cloud called a planetary nebula, and its core will shrink into a small, white-hot ember. That ember is a white dwarf, a diamond in the cosmic dark. White dwarfs don't burn like stars. They glow only with the leftover heat of their long lives. For trillions of years, they will slowly cool, fading through shades of white, blue, and red, until they become invisible to the eye. At that point, they are no longer white dwarfs. They are black dwarfs, cold, dark remnants of suns that once shone bright. No black dwarf exists yet, because the universe itself isn't old enough for one to form. Our cosmos, at about 13.8 billion years, is still far too young. But given enough time, quadrillions of years, they will emerge, silent and frozen, drifting in the deep dark. Each black dwarf is a monument to what was, a quiet, invisible tomb of a once living star. No light escapes them. No warmth remains. They are made of tightly packed carbon and oxygen, atoms so compressed that a teaspoon of their matter could weigh tons. Imagine them, these quiet giants, each one the size of Earth, yet holding the mass of an entire sun, silent, unlit, moving through a universe that no longer shines. And yet, they are beautiful, because in every black dwarf, the story of a star still lingers, not in light, but in memory, in the darkness of the far future. Billions upon billions of black dwarfs drift quietly. They no longer glow, but they move, pulled gently by the faint gravity that still threads through the cosmos. They orbit nothing, circle nothing, only drift, like quiet stones across an endless ocean. Time moves differently here, not in years or centuries, but in spans so long that even imagination feels small. The universe may be 100 trillion years old, 1,000 trillion, 1,000,000 trillion, and still these black dwarfs endure. But not forever. Slowly, quietly, they too begin to change. The protons inside their atoms, those building blocks of everything, may one day decay. If that happens, the very substance of the black dwarf will crumble. It will dissolve into smaller, lighter particles, until nothing remains but faint radiation. Some scientists think that, long before this, a black dwarf could still produce a spark, a final flare in the darkness, a rare fusion reaction triggered by the strange physics of decay, might cause a sudden burst, a black dwarf supernova. Imagine that, after countless trillions of years of silence, a tiny flicker of light, a last, fleeting bloom in the dark, a cosmic heartbeat, before returning to stillness. It wouldn't last long, perhaps only moments, but in those moments, the universe would remember light again, and then, as quickly as it came, it would fade, and darkness would return, deeper than before. This long dance of decay and brief rebirth is the final choreography of matter. Every element that once formed stars, planets, and living beings will pass through this stage, cooling, fading, and finally dissolving into the quiet. But what a dance it is! Slow, patient, endless. The final waltz of creation. Though black dwarfs are small, they share the universe with other quiet giants. The black holes, once the fierce hearts of massive stars. Black holes remain the most mysterious relics of the cosmos. Even in this dark era, they persist, silently swallowing what little matter crosses their path. Not because they are hungry, but because gravity itself cannot let go of them. Black holes, like black dwarfs, will eventually fade too, over unimaginable time. They emit faint radiation, tiny leaks of energy known as Hawking radiation. It's so weak, so delicate, that it would take longer than the age of the current universe for a single stellar black hole to vanish. But vanish they will, and when they do, only particles of light, photons, will remain. At that moment, every giant of the universe, every star, every dwarf, every black hole will have finished its journey. The cosmos will be filled with nothing but faint, uniform radiation. No matter where you are, no direction will look different from another. There will be no galaxies, no suns, no movement, only stillness, perfect symmetry, and perhaps, in that perfect balance, there will also be peace, because this is not the story of destruction. It is the story of rest. The black dwarfs and quiet giants are not the end of life, but the beginning of stillness. The universe has breathed its long breath of creation, and now it exhales. Each quiet object is a reminder that even the brightest things must someday rest, and in that rest, they find meaning. So as you breathe softly now, listening to the rhythm of the dark, remember, you, too, are part of this grand pattern, a pattern of birth, brightness, and rest, in the stillness of the universe, in the silence between stars. There is beauty, the beauty of things finally coming home. Imagine a universe where time is no longer counted in billions of years, but in numbers so large, they make centuries seem like sparks in the dark. 10 years, 10, 10 superscript 1. These are spans of time we cannot truly picture. If every second of your life were a star, and every heartbeat a galaxy, even then, you would not come close to the scale of what lies ahead. And yet, in this far future, time still moves. It never stops. It never sleeps. This is a slow dance of decay, a cosmic ballet so vast and delicate that each step takes longer than the history of everything we know. By now, all normal stars are gone. Black dwarfs drift in darkness. Black holes wait silently. No new light is born. No new stars ignite. And still, entropy continues its patient work. Every form of energy seeks balance. Every pocket of heat moves toward cold. Every unevenness, every ripple of motion, every spark of light gradually smooths out. The universe is like a pond after the last drop has fallen. The ripples spread, soften, and finally fade into still water. In this era, matter begins to dissolve, not in an explosion, but in a whisper. Atoms, once thought eternal, may not be forever. Some theories suggest that protons, those tiny, sturdy particles at the heart of every atom, might eventually decay. If they do, it won't be sudden. It will take time so immense, it surpasses imagination. But little by little, they will disintegrate, turning solid matter into faint radiation, spreading thin across the vast, empty space. Imagine holding a rock, solid, heavy, reliable. Now imagine that rock, over trillions upon trillions of years, slowly fading away until it becomes invisible light, its atoms undone, its structure forgotten. That is a slow dance of decay, not destruction, but release, the quiet unraveling of all that once was formed, back into pure energy. It's not violent, it's graceful. It's a universe breathing out, one final, endless sigh. If you could watch the universe from outside, if such a place even existed, you would see nothing change at first. The black dwarfs still drift. The black holes still hum faintly with radiation. Everything seems frozen, unchanged, but over time, subtle things begin to happen. The black holes grow smaller, bit by bit, as they emit Hawking radiation. Each particle that escapes carries away a tiny piece of the black hole's mass. It takes 10, or even 10 superscript 1 years. But eventually, even the mightiest black holes evaporate, leaving behind only a whisper of light. Elsewhere, the black dwarfs, those quiet remnants of ancient suns, begin to crumble at the atomic level. The protons within them decay, and the atoms fall apart, one by one. At first, the decay is rare, a single atom here, a single particle there. But over time, it becomes the dominant rhythm of the cosmos, a slow, even rhythm, the quiet ticking of an invisible clock, counting down to stillness. Every particle that decays adds to the sea of low-energy radiation that fills space. Light that once burned bright as a star now hums faintly as background energy, spread across trillions of light years. No galaxies remain, no shapes, no structures, just energy, soft, diffuse, and perfectly balanced. To call this death feels wrong. It's more like a transformation, a gentle undoing, like snow melting into air, or a candle flame fading into smoke. The universe is returning to its simplest form, the complex beauty of creation. Stars, planets, life has had its moment. Now it drifts toward peace. Every motion slows. Every vibration eases. Even quantum fluctuations, those tiny tremors of existence, begin to calm. The stage is being cleared. The story, having been told, moves toward its quiet epilogue. As the last particles fade, what remains? Perhaps nothing we can truly imagine, but not emptiness, exactly, because even if every atom is gone, the memory of what once existed still echoes. In physics, this memory is written as energy spread thin across the infinite expanse, a faint hum of photons, so stretched and weak that their wavelength could be larger than galaxies. This background glow is the final whisper of the universe. It holds no heat, no structure, no information, just the quiet echo of everything that ever was. At this stage, time itself begins to lose meaning again. When nothing changes, how can you measure time? When there is no motion, no contrast, no sound, what does a moment even mean? The universe is now like a still photograph, infinite and unchanging. Entropy has reached its maximum, a perfect calm where energy is evenly spread everywhere. Nothing more can happen. Nothing more needs to happen. It is, in a strange way, beautiful, because this stillness isn't destruction. It's balance. Every imbalance, every movement toward order or chaos has finally evened out. You might think of it as the universe falling into deep sleep, not gone, just resting in the soft cradle of eternity. And as it rests, the faint hum of the last light continues to drift through space, like a lullaby that never ends. It is the memory of stars, the memory of life, the memory of everything that once dreamed and loved and looked up at the night sky. You, too, are part of that memory. Your atoms, your breath, your thoughts, they will one day return to that calm sea, and in doing so, they will join the great stillness, the slow dance that connects all things, because even as everything fades, nothing is truly lost. It simply becomes quiet. It becomes peace. Close your eyes and imagine a sky without stars, no constellations, no galaxies, no sun to mark the day, no moon to guide the night, just blackness, pure, soft, endless blackness. And yet, if you could see with perfect eyes, beyond the limits of light, you'd notice something faint, a subtle glow, not from any star or flame, but from the universe itself. This is the last light, the final, lingering whisper of energy, left behind after everything else has faded. At this stage, the universe has stretched so vastly that even photons, the tiny packets of light, are spread thin and weary. Their wavelengths have grown so long that they barely ripple at all. What was once a shining, glowing cosmos has cooled and stretched, into a soft, invisible hum. The background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, has now stretched far beyond infrared, beyond microwaves, into unimaginably long radio waves. They drift through space like ghostly echoes, reminders of a universe that was once alive with fire. You might picture it like this. A great bonfire once burned bright and wild. Over eons, it burned down to embers. And now, only a faint warmth remains, a whisper of heat you can still feel if you hold your hand close enough to memory. This is the era of the last light, the time when even the smallest traces of energy continue their journey through the expanding dark. Every particle of light travels outward, endlessly, never returning. There is no longer a center to circle, no galaxies to visit, no eyes to see it. And yet, the light keeps going, patiently, quietly, as though honoring a promise made at the dawn of time. This faint energy fills the universe evenly, like a calm ocean that never waves, never stirs. It is both everywhere and nowhere, the last remnant of creation. And as it drifts, space itself continues to grow. Every moment stretches the fabric of existence, a little thinner. Every second carries the light farther, until even its faint glow fades beyond recognition. If we could follow a single photon from this far future, we would see a journey that never ends, born perhaps from the evaporation of a black hole or from the slow decay of ancient matter. It sets out across an endless sea of space. It travels through emptiness so complete that it may never encounter another particle again. No dust, no planet, no star to reflect upon, just a quiet pull of expansion, stretching its wavelength longer and longer, until its energy becomes almost nothing at all. And yet, that photon still exists. Even in this deep future, light has not vanished. It has only grown soft, its energy dispersed, its song slowed to the gentlest possible hum. It's a strange kind of immortality. Each photon is eternal in its own way, though its presence is faint beyond measure. If you could somehow capture that photon and trace it backward through time, you would find that it once belonged to the universe's earliest fires, perhaps the light of the first stars, or the fading breath of a dying sun. Every particle of light is a memory, a messenger from the past. And even at the end of everything, those memories remain, stretched thin, but never entirely gone. This soft sea of radiation, the final breath of existence, fills every corner of space. It is quiet, calm, and balanced. There are no bright spots anymore, no direction that holds more light than another. The universe has achieved perfect equilibrium. The smooth, even calm, that entropy has been guiding it toward all along. In that balance, nothing more can happen. No star can form. No galaxy can rise. No energy can gather enough strength to break the stillness. The last light marks the completion of the cosmic story. Not an end of destruction, but the settling of all things into harmony. Now, imagine the very last photon, the final flicker of light, moving through a universe so large that it may never reach an end. It drifts endlessly, losing energy, its wavelength stretching wider and wider, until it becomes part of the background, indistinguishable from space itself. And then, perhaps after a time beyond numbers, it fades completely. Its energy merges with the fabric of existence. No longer a wave, no longer a particle, just part of the infinite calm. This is the true final silence, the moment when light, the storyteller of the cosmos, finally stops speaking. But even in that silence, there is beauty, because light has been the voice of the universe. From the very beginning, it carried information, shaped matter, and revealed form. It illuminated stars, planets, and the hearts of living beings. And now, after eons of shining, it rests. The last light doesn't go out in despair. It simply returns home. It was never lost, only transformed, turned from fire into calm, from brilliance into balance. In this final hush, you can almost imagine the universe breathing softly. Content, the story has been told. The light has done its work. And what remains is peace, a vast, eternal quiet, filled not with nothing, but with the gentle memory of everything. The last light is not the death of illumination, but the fulfillment of it. It is the moment when light, having shown all that could ever be, becomes still, a soft whisper in the dark, forever resting in the arms of eternity. You can think of it like an ocean after a storm. The waves that once crashed and roared have finally gone still. The surface becomes smooth, and below it, the water rests in silence. Every atom, every photon, every memory of light has spread evenly through the endless dark. There are no hot places, no cold places, just perfect equilibrium, perfect calm. And in that calm, there is peace, not the peace of absence, but the peace of completion. The universe has done its work. It has created stars, life, galaxies, and beauty. It has told every story it could ever tell. Now it simply rests. If you listen closely, not with your ears, but with your imagination, you can almost hear that quietness. A still hum beneath everything. A silence, so deep it feels like a soft embrace. Maybe, just maybe, the end of the universe isn't something to fear. Maybe it's a return, a coming home. Just as you, after a long day, lie down and let your mind grow calm. The universe, too, has earned its rest. The idea of the heat death, the point when everything reaches the same temperature, and all usable energy is gone, might sound cold, lifeless, or lonely, but look closer, and you'll find something deeply beautiful there. For all of time, the universe has been moving toward balance. Every explosion, every collapse, every spark of creation has been part of a long, slow journey toward stillness. Even entropy, that quiet spreading of energy, is not destruction, but harmony. It's a universe evening itself out, smoothing every rough edge, bringing every difference into balance. In the end, every atom, every particle, every wave finds its place. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is lost. The stars that burned have given their light. The galaxies that formed have danced their dances. And the minds that wondered, like yours, have gazed into the dark and asked why. And now there are no more questions, only the calm, the gentle, eternal silence of everything in its rightful place. It's a kind of cosmic sleep, the deepest slumber imaginable. And perhaps within that infinite stillness, there is something new, a state beyond our understanding, where energy, matter, and time merge into one soft, timeless existence. You might imagine it as a single, endless breath, not inhaling or exhaling, just being. And isn't that what peace really is? Not the absence of sound, but the presence of serenity. not the end of movement, but the perfection of stillness. The infinite calm is not nothingness. It's the universe's ultimate harmony, a lullaby so vast that it cradles all that ever was. Now, let's bring that same calm a little closer to you, because you, too, are part of the universe's story. Every atom in your body once danced inside a star. Every breath you take carries the memory of the cosmos. You are made of the same elements that once burned in supernovae, the same matter that shaped planets and hearts and oceans. And one day, far, far in the future, those same atoms will rest again in the infinite calm. There's something beautifully comforting about that, isn't there? That no matter how far apart everything drifts, no matter how the stars fade or the galaxies dissolve, you will always be part of it. You were never separate. You were always home. When you breathe slowly now, you're echoing the rhythm of the universe. The inhale, creation. The exhale, stillness. And between them, the pause, peace. The infinite calm is not only the universe's destiny, it's also within you, right here, right now. Every moment of stillness, every quiet breath before sleep is a tiny reflection of the great cosmic silence to come. So as you rest tonight, let the thought bring you comfort that the universe and you are both on the same journey, from energy to stillness, from chaos to calm, from light to rest. And when all things finally fade into silence, that silence will not be emptiness. It will be peace, a peace that has been earned over eternity. So now, as the stars of your own thoughts grow dim, and your mind drifts into its gentle sleep, let the infinite calm embrace you, just as it will one day embrace everything. Because in the end, there is no fear, no loss, no goodbye. There is only rest, only stillness, only the soft, eternal calm that waits beyond the final light. Good night and goodbye.